was not covered at the time of my qualifying event. Everybody with me so far? So what is a qualifying event? Again, that is something that occurs while you are actively working, where that event changes your eligibility for coverage. Your coverage might stop at some date in the future, but that event basically forces you to be ineligible for coverage. So that could be you resign, your job is eliminated, you're laid off, you're moved from a full-time status to a part-time. Maybe you're working 40 hours a week and the only job available for you is 18 hours a week. So now you lose your eligibility. Maybe your spouse loses their job and you had coverage through your spouse's plan and now you need to get back into the plan again, and so you're getting back into the plan, or your spouse's plan has changed. Those are all qualifications for a qualifying event. You're getting a divorce. Your ex-spouse is not eligible for health insurance anymore because it's an ex-spouse. That would be a COBR event. You have a child that maybe was going to go to college but then doesn't really take it too seriously and drops out. Hey, guess what? That's a qualifying event. Those are events that occurred that make that individual ineligible for coverage in the future. There is another definition under COBRA, which is if you do something that is defined as gross misconduct, you'd be ineligible for COBRA. But that has to be very significant. It has to be something that when you hear the event, you kind of go, oh. It's not like an event where I didn't perform well or I wasn't friendly to my boss's boss. Those are not gross misconduct events. This is something that would be very considered shocking in nature. So, how long does COBRA coverage last depends upon who is eligible for COBRA and what was the qualifying event. For example, if you have a job elimination, a resignation, or you just resigned from your job, the COBRA period would be 18 months from that event. Now, an employer might choose to do something more generous than that, but this is the regulations of COBRA. That's for the federal subsidy. We'll talk about that in a second, because they run concurrently. Again, remember I told you it's never simple, and there is always a loop in this process. If you are someone who is divorcing your spouse, maybe I have coverage under my husband and we're getting a divorce, I can continue his coverage as a COBRA qualifying or COBRA beneficiary for 36 months from the date of the divorce. Same with children who reach the maximum age. There are different time periods depending upon what the event occurs that triggers me to being eligible for COBRA. If I am disabled, then I also get an extension. It would be a total of 29 months, which happens to be the time period before if you go and get your Social Security Disability Award, that's the waiting period before you become eligible for Medicare. So that's why that is a 29 months. So now we know there's a variety of people who are eligible for COBRA. There's a variety of people that time periods of how much COBRA you can take. The vast majority of people, probably the vast majority of people in this room, your COBRA would be extending for 18 months. That's the kind of the norm. Yes?